everybody.
Morning.
Welcome to Jubilee Circle. Thank you all for being here this morning. We ready to play some music?
Only if I know what the song is. Oh my God.
We're all the leaves of one tree.
Okay.
And if you have a bulletin, there's a bulletin over there for everybody in the room. And for all of y'all out there in TV land, you can go to jubileecircle.com, and on the front page of our website, you will find a link that says download today's bulletin. And you can download the bulletin, and you will have all of the songs, all of the readings, everything you need to follow along this morning. All right, you ready?
For sure.
2, 3, 4. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the leaves of one tree. The time has come for us to live as one. We are all the leaves of one tree. We are all the waves of one sea. We are all the waves of one sea. The time has come for us to live as one. We are all the waves of one sea. We make our home on this emerald stone. Life is born in the embrace of the sun. All we see and what is yet to be. Knowing love from the heart of love. We are all the stars of one sky. We are all the stars of one sky. The time has come for us to live as one. We are all the stars of one sky. We are all the words of one song. We are all the words of one song. The time has come for us to live as one. We are all the words of one song. We make our home on this emerald stone. Life is born in the embrace of the sun. All we see and what is yet to be. Knowing love from the heart of love. Oh yeah, Bruce Clark, everybody. Woo. Some beautiful little solo there. So good morning again, everyone. Thank you all for being here at Jubilee Circle this morning, and thank you all for joining us live over the YouTube. We are continuing, of course, our VIA Transformativa theme of barriers be gone. And A Course in Miracles tells us that our task in this lifetime is not to search for love, but to tear down all the barriers that we have built up against it. And so we're exploring some of those barriers all this quarter and how we can remove them. In John 10:10, Jesus makes the startling declaration that he came to this world to give us life, and life abundant. And when our ego hears that line, it gets all excited because it thinks about all the things that Jesus could bring us. Houses, cars, the latest electronic gadgets, relationships. Here's the thing, though. The kind of abundance Jesus is talking about doesn't have anything to do with things or material possessions. The Greek word for life is zoe. Here's your Greek lesson for the morning. Zoe. Which means to have vitality, to have fullness of life, to have energy or a life force. An abundant life isn't one filled with things. It's filled with energy. It's filled with fullness and an all-encompassing sense of just being fully present to everything in this world. So what do you have, jubilance, in your abundance right now? Love, compassion, mercy, empathy, sympathy, health, time, talents, wisdom, skills. Some of us may actually be abundant in possessions or money, but the question then becomes, are you possessed by your possessions? Do you use them to bring more separation in the world by hoarding them, or are you creating unity by sharing them, giving wastefully? We are here, jubilants, to be abundant in life, to be abundant in light, to be abundant in love, and to know that these are the things that never run out. And the more and more of these things we give into the world, the more these life-giving things return to us, sometimes even in more abundance than we gave out. Jubilance, this world, this bodily world, it appears to be one of lack. It appears to be one of limited resources, and that's the world that the ego would have us believe in. But there is a better world, and it's available 24/7 because we carry it around in our heart and our mind all the time. This is a world of abundance where we never lack for anything, because we know that if we give life, if we give energy and love and peace and joy, it comes back to us in many myriad ways and powerful ways, ways that will make you say, oh yeah. Please rise as you're able. And we begin every Jubilee celebration by remembering the four elements, the air and the water and the earth and the fire. And we burn black sage as a reminder to set your intentions, to set your intention for yourself personally, for your love and your life, and also to set your intentions for this world, that this force of love may cover all of us in this world. And we orient ourselves by calling the four directions in this sacred time and space. So I invite you to turn and face the east. We give thanks this morning, Holy One, for the loving light of the sun as it spreads its rays without thinking about who's worthy enough to receive that life-giving warmth. May we learn how to shine our light into the world without conditions, seeing only people and creatures deserving of our love. Quarter turn to the right and we face the south. We give thanks this morning, Holy One, for the passion and fire of the South. Remind us to live and love passionately in this world, to let our love burn hot like the winds of the South, regardless of who is before us or what situation confronts us. Consume us, Holy One, with your passionate love, so that we may blow that unconditional love out into the world around us. Quarter turn to the right and we face the west. We give thanks, Holy One, for the wisdom of the West, that wisdom that invites us to put aside any past slights or past frustrations, any past insults or causes for anger or hatred. We give thanks for that wisdom that invites us to new beginnings, a fresh start, and a heart that is light from leaving behind a past that holds us down. Free us, Holy One, through the wise love of the West. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the north. We give thanks, Holy One, for the infinite possibilities of the north. Teach us how to put aside our limiting beliefs about love so we may be free to explore the many infinite possibilities of that holy and eternal love. Reveal the holy to us in each moment so we may fall in love over and over again with you, Holy One, and with ourselves and all of this amazing creation. And as we turn back toward the center, you will find a lot of folks there who are feeling connected to the abundance of life, and others who may be struggling to find such a connection. But no matter where you are in this moment, I invite you to open yourself up to the abundance of this moment. There is an abundance in this moment of breathable air. There is an abundance of light. There is an abundance of space. There is an abundance of love and peace that flows in, through, and around all of us at the moment. And so much abundance in this present moment, that ought to make you want to say, oh yeah. All right, y'all, remain standing. We're going to open up with some Jason Mraz this morning. And again, if you are watching us out there in TV land, or you would prefer an electronic bulletin even here in the room, you can go to jubileecircle.com and you will find a link to the bulletin there. All right. And as we sing little Jason Mraz this morning, I invite all of y'all to greet one another here in the building. Wave at the camera and let people know that you're here and they could be here too. So, all right, here we go. Excuse me while I confer with the drummer. Talk amongst yourselves. Whatever.
It says, I want
That's
you to have
page
it
3.
all. Verse
No.
2 is,
I need to start numbering pages. That's what I'm hearing. I numbered my
goes
own.
beyond 2, we're in trouble.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I invite you to greet one another. May you have auspiciousness and causes of success. May you have the confidence to always do your best. May you take no effort in your being generous, sharing what you can, nothing more, nothing less. May you know the meaning of the word happiness. May you always lead with the beating in your chest. May you be treated like an esteemed guest. May you get the dress to catch your breath. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Whoa. May the road less paved be the one that you follow. Whoa. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna brave. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. I want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it, have it. I want you to have it all. May you be as fascinating as a slap bracelet. May you keep the chaos and the clutter off your desk. May you have unquestionable health and less stress. Having no possessions, so immeasurable wealth. May you get a gold star on your next test. May your educated guesses always be correct. May you win prizes shining like diamonds. May you really own it each moment to the next. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. Oh, may the road less paved be the one that you follow. Whoa. Well, here's to the hearts that you're gonna break. Here's to the lives that you're gonna change. Here's to the infinite possible ways to love you. Want you to have it. Here's to the good times we're gonna have. You don't need money, you got a free pass. Here's to the fact that I'd be sad without you. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all. I want you to have it, have it. I want you to have it all. Oh, I want you to have it all you can imagine. Oh, no matter what the path is, if you believe it, then anything can happen. Go, 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 raise your glasses, go. Oh, yeah. All righty. So, again, welcome. I feel like there were others that wandered in during all that, so welcome to the folks who wandered in, found your way in here today. We appreciate that. Jubilee Circle, we are an inclusive, progressive interfaith community in Columbia, South Carolina, and we teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity that is found in all mainstream religions, in metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and inspired secular and religious writers and teachers throughout the ages. And we use popular music and teachings and weekly celebrations and educational and artistic events and other community building activities as we seek to create this space for everyone so they can experience their own transformation and then go out and be part of the transformation of the whole world. And we believe we are here to expand our souls, to find that deeper meaning in life, to renew our commitment to love and peace and justice and learn how to love wastefully and undergo this transformation from the inside out to discover how to live more and more in each moment in our higher divine self. We also recognize we are part of God's good creation. We are formed not just in stardust, but in love and light and joy. But we humans, we forget this. We come into the world and we look around and we see everything as separate, you over here and me over there. We start judging things and having grievances. And then we look around and go, oh, well, you know, they're beautiful, but they're really ugly. They're good, oh, they're bad. Oh, look at the generous people. Oh, look at those greedy, stingy people. Look at those loving people. Look at those all very recalcitrant. Headstrong. Obstreperous. What was the other one? Refractory. All your vocabulary here in one Sunday morning. But let us remember our true function here, Jubilants. It is to continually remember who we are, to return to the home of unity that we have never left. And while we are here in this bodily world, to embody that love, that holy love that wants to extend out from us into the world, making everybody say, oh yeah. All right. Coming up next Sunday, I'm going to be preaching to the UUs in Newberry. So a man named Michael Brazel will be here. He is an interfaith minister, a master intuitive healer, and a grief guide. And he's going to talk a little bit about how we can develop meaningful rituals in our lives. So I saw him give this talk recently, and it's really good, and it's very interactive, and you'll figure out a way to make even the rituals, maybe even some small rituals in your own life, be very meaningful. So he's going to be here for that. I will be back the next week, and we will celebrate Easter on the 17th, and we're going to use music from Kebmo as we explore the barrier of death. It's going to be cheery.
Yeah.
We overcome death. There's the spoiler. All right, and so we've got lots of things coming up in April. So April 22nd, on a Friday night, we're going to start our Jubilee in Conversation series, where we're going to start talking to some other faith traditions, people in other faith traditions, and ways of spiritual thought and being, so we can learn about all the different varieties in our unity here in the world. So Holly Emore will be first up, and she's going to discuss paganism. And we're going to have a potluck that evening. Jubilee Circle will provide the main dishes. Bring a side dish, bring some desserts, bring some drinks. If you can't bring anything, don't worry, come, because there will be plenty. So don't feel like you have to bring anything, but if you want to, that would be great and gratefully accepted. We're also going to live stream the conversation and record it for those who want to watch it later on YouTube, minus the potluck. You're going to miss the food. But you have to bring your own food to that, right? Yeah, virtual potluck. Right, eat a sandwich. Right. And then Sunday, April 24th, following the celebration, we're going to have another event of education. Folks have asked for spiritual education, and we are giving it to you. Dr. Philip Michaels will give a talk on God's gift of consciousness, and Dr. Michaels says it's available anywhere. Again, there will be food, potluck. So again, Jubilee will provide the main courses, bring some side dishes. If you can't, don't worry, just come anyway. And listen to Dr. Michaels. That will start on Sunday at 1:30, right after the celebration. We'll eat something, and then we'll hear from Dr. Michaels. Our Course in Miracles group is Wednesdays at 7:30. Soundy School is 10:30 every Sunday. And then Friday, May 6th, we'll do our coffee house, our open mic and coffee house again. We had a good one on Friday night, and it was fun. It was fun. We had a lot of folks. We had a great opening act and a lot of good folks on the mic. So come and enjoy it. Again, food is served. Come hungry because we have food. And so join us for that. We look forward to May 6th. I'm not sure who's coming, but Al Black will tell me. All right. Yes. And Julie's not here today because she is womaning her open studio. There's a studio tour going on all around Columbia called Columbia Open Studios, and her house will be open over in West Columbia until 6, from noon until 6 today, and you can see her amazing art. She makes art from recycled bottles, from plastic bottles, and other stuff, but you would be amazed at some of the, oh my goodness, what she can do with other people's trash. She turns it into amazing art and treasure. So go by and check out Julie's art before 6 o'clock today. And if you go on, is it just on Facebook? It was Columbia Open Studios? Yeah, if you go on Facebook and look for Columbia Open Studios, there is a graphic with a QR code that will give you all the addresses of all of these open studios. And Julie Buckley, look for her. That's where you will find her address and go check it out. All right.
Can I tell them about Julie DeParty?
Absolutely.
So some of you guys know that I'm an actor,
Okay.
sort of, and I've been really fortunate to be cast in a play coming up. It opens on April 29th. It's with On Stage Studios over in West Columbia. It's a very small theater in West Columbia, and tickets go on sale tomorrow. There will be a dinner theater option. You can choose to buy just a ticket to the show, or you could come and eat. Speaking of eating, you're not going to go hungry in Columbia.
That's right.
But it's a comedy. It's a funny story about a family getting through a funeral of a loved one, and it's quite entertaining. So I was privileged to be cast, and I would love for some of you guys to come.
Stay there.
Okay.
Hear these wise and holy words. Ding. All right.
Lots of wrangling going on. From A Course in Miracles, chapter 4. The ego never gives out of abundance because it was made as a substitute for it. That is why the concept of getting arose in the ego's thought system. Appetites are getting mechanisms, representing the ego's need to confirm itself. This is as true of body appetites as it is of the so-called higher ego needs. Body appetites are not physical in origin. The ego regards the body as its home and tries to satisfy itself through the body. But the idea that this is possible is a decision of the mind, which has become completely confused about what is really possible. From the Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron, the essence of generosity is letting go. Pain is always a sign that we are holding on to something, usually ourselves. When we feel unhappy, when we feel inadequate, we get stingy, we hold on tight. Generosity is an activity that loosens us up by offering whatever we can, $1, a flower, a word of encouragement. We are training in letting go. From the poet Rumi, The Worm's Waking. This is how a human being can change. There's a worm addicted to eating grape leaves. Suddenly, he wakes up. Call it grace, whatever, something wakes him, and he's no longer a worm. He is the entire vineyard, and the orchard too, the fruit, the trunks, a growing wisdom, and joy that does not need to devour.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. I invite you during this time of prayer and meditation, think about the places that close you. That's what Pema Chodron is talking about in that reading. The places where we constrict. The emotions, the thoughts, the things going on in the world that make us pull in and close instead of open up. When we get scared, we get stingy.
We see that in the world. The world is scared, and so it appears to be stingy. And the way that you change a stingy world is to become what's missing, to become that generosity, to be that spirit in the world. So I invite you in this moment. Meditate on the things that you're fearful of. Meditate on the things that close you. And bring that generosity of your own love to yourself, to those places within that are scared, those places within that don't know what to do. Because when you are generous with yourself, then that generosity can't help but be brought forward into the world. Breathe deeply. Our song this morning comes from the Dave Matthews Band. The song is called Big-Eyed Fish and comes from their 2002 release, Busted Stuff. One, two, three, four. This big-eyed fish that's swimming in the sea. Oh, how it dreams to be a bird swooping, diving through the breeze. So one day caught a big old wave up onto the beach, and now he's dead, you see. Beneath the sea is where a fish should be. But oh God, under the waves on the other side. Hello, my name is Candace, and I am a book addict.
Hey, Candace.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I must have owned well over 500 tomes that I crammed into like 2 or 3 bookcases and spilled all of its contents out onto the floor with the excess A meme on Facebook explains my addiction quite well. It says, buying books and reading books are two different hobbies. Another apt meme depicts a pretty girl that's walking toward the camera while a guy walking in the other direction is like turning around to admire her, and the girl holding his hand is like looking at him like incredulously, like, what? The pretty girl coming towards us is captioned, new books at the bookstore. The guy is captioned, me, and the jealous offended girl with him represents the unread, untouched books I have at home. You see, I may have read only about a quarter of the books I still own, and that might actually be a generous estimate. I used to feed my addiction by going to the Friends of the Library sales, and often I'd end up buying second or third copies of a book I already had on the off chance that I didn't have it. A couple of years ago, I actually culled my collection. It was like a Sophie's Choice, trying to get rid of your babies. I sent at least a dozen boxes to the library. Now, the challenge is to not go back to a Friends of the Library sale and buy back all of the books that I donated. Really? Right. Yeah, anyway, come on, I'm not alone in... Oh, right, yeah. I'm not alone in this. I joke about this addiction, and it seems a bit trivial in comparison to the very real and life and soul-damaging addictions that others struggle with. But it's an example, even a lighthearted one, about how we are all haunted by what the Buddhist tradition calls hungry ghosts, or preta. These ghosts are depicted with long, thin necks. They have tiny mouths and bloated bellies, and they are insatiable in their desires, but they find that if they even manage to eat or drink something, they're never satisfied. Or they don't get the food at all because it will burst into flame or rot before they can even try to eat it. The hungry ghosts represent all of our desires that we either repress or try to satisfy in myriad ways, only left to be feeling more empty than when we started. We're like the big-eyed fish who dreams to be a bird, to chase something that's never going to give him true satisfaction, not the true satisfaction he could really find if he just accepted that he was meant to live his life as a big-eyed fish. And this is how the ego twists around our ideas of abundance and desire for satisfaction in the world. It constantly keeps us looking for things we don't have, convincing us that we're not going to be happy until we possess that thing or that quality or that status or that power or that relationship. We cannot be happy with whatever we have at this moment, whether it's books or other possessions or money or prestige or even the talents and skills that we already possess. But we feel like they're inferior somehow to what others have and what others can do. But you know, the ego, it sees the world as transactional. If I give you this, I get something else in return. It never, as A Course in Miracles tells us, it never gives from abundance because, A Course says, it was made as a substitute for it. The ego was made as a substitute for abundance. This is why the concept of getting arose in the ego's thought system. Appetites are getting mechanisms, representing the ego's need to confirm itself. This is as true of body appetites as the so-called higher ego needs, of course says. Our ego is a hungry ghost. And the ego's motto is seek but do not find, which means it can never be satisfied. So it has no abundance from which to give anything to anybody. There's never enough for the ego. So it sends us out into the world as hungry ghosts, trying our best to satisfy our cravings and our desires. And we may find a nice morsel every now and then to satisfy us. But soon the hunger comes back, and it comes back with a vengeance, and we suffer. We're constantly trying to satisfy ourselves through our bodies, but as A Course reminds us, the idea that this is possible to satisfy ourselves through our bodies in this world is a decision of the mind, which has become completely confused about what is really possible. So what then is really possible? Well, true abundance is really possible. The mindset that no longer sees lack or limited resources or even feels the need to look outside of ourselves to satisfy us with something out here. And the reason we can do that is because we know without a doubt that everything we need to experience love, joy, and peace in this world is already within us. It's just there waiting to be recognized and put into use. We all have the gifts that we're not recognizing and not using in this world, and we think gifts have to be something grand. I have to go out and change the world. I have to be on the forefront of all these movements and be this big force. And so we discount the gifts we really have. We think gifts such as the ability to listen deeply to others, or hold a loving space and be present for them and ourselves. We think those gifts aren't valuable, but we all crave that. We all want to be heard. We all want to feel the presence with each other. We think our ability to offer small kindnesses, like a smile or a kind word or even a simple gesture, hold the door open for somebody, allow somebody in front of you in line at the grocery store, we think that doesn't mean anything, but that is gold in this world of tribalism and division. You already have within you, Jubilants, an abundance of gifts that can change this world in amazing ways. If you would just take the time to recognize them, see them, embrace them, and extend them, start practicing them. Like all those unread books on my shelf, within each of us is all the wisdom and knowledge we will ever need, but we don't take them off the shelf and read them. We don't think they're good enough. But imagine how much wiser I would be if I read every book I own. Imagine how much more joyful we would all be if we took the time to read the wisdom and love and joy and peace that is already written on our hearts right now. The ego, though, it's not interested in that knowledge or that wisdom or love or joy or peace. It says go buy another book that you're not going to read full of wisdom and love and joy. But you're not going to read it. Ooh, there it is. It's pretty on the shelf. It's nice. We'll dust it off now and then. I'm not going to read it. The ego, it's a hungry ghost. It wants us to believe we can only be satisfied by buying the book. Don't have to read it. Believing this lie is what the Buddhists call the first arrow that leaves us feeling wounded by our sense of deprivation and lack as we fruitlessly seek for peace outside. And then the Buddhists say the ego shoots the second arrow, which is the arrow of shame. And so we are shamed and scolded for our failure to find peace where we can't find it anyway. This is how we become trapped in our ego's cycle of seeking and not finding, and then we beat ourselves up for failing to find what the ego is going to keep hidden from us anyway. But the good news is, Jubilants, we can break the cycle and begin enjoying the life that we were meant to lead as wise, big-eyed fish who know that flying is already available to us if we just embrace the abundance that we're swimming around in already. Breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4. You see, this crazy man decided not to breathe. He turned red and blue, purple, colorful indeed. No matter how his friends begged and pleaded, the man would not concede, and now he's dead, you see. The silly man should know you got to breathe, but oh God, under the weight of life, things seem brighter on the other side. Oh God, but under the weight of life, to avoid that ego's second arrow of suffering, A Course gives us a simple remedy: projection. Right? Right. And we tend to think of projection as negative, mainly because when it is a function of the ego, what we're projecting into the world is simply more of our suffering, more of that shame, more of that despair and dissatisfaction and grievance. We're like the man who refuses to breathe until the world outside of ourselves looks just how we desire it to be. And it's true that projection is how we can so efficiently bring our ego's misery out into the world. But A Course says projection is also how we shine forth that light of love, because the Holy Spirit uses projection to give from its holy abundance, while the ego uses it to deprive others of something and promote the idea of scarcity and lack. So we can use the projection of our mind in two different ways. We can create scarcity, or we can create abundance. You have the choice. The best vehicle for getting rid of our hungry ghosts and creating a sense of abundance in this world, both in our inner and outer world, is this: generosity. The ego would have us hang on to everything and anything that we think will bring us happiness from the outside, whether it's books or relationships, status, power, prestige, wealth. But Holy Spirit knows that giving and receiving are exactly the same. So when we're willing to let go of our spirit of lack and stinginess, our hungry ghosts disappear. They are fulfilled. Letting go of our painful ideas of lack and scarcity is the essence of generosity, says Buddhist nun Pema Chodron. Pain, she says, is always a sign that we're holding on to something, usually ourselves. When we feel unhappy, when we feel inadequate, we get stingy. We hold on tight. Generosity, she says, is an activity that will loosen us up. By offering whatever we can, a dollar, a flower, a word of encouragement, we are training in letting go. And the ego tells us, of course, well, if you let go, you just lose everything. But Spirit reminds us that letting go of anything the ego says is valuable is the best way to gain everything. Because we have finally put to rest the hungry ghosts who are out there endlessly seeking that satisfaction in the world, and they are not finding it. Generosity, though, I understand. I completely understand. It feels scary. It took me a long time to come up with a generous spirit. I used to be very stingy. $1? Pfft, get out of my face. That's my dollar. Honestly. I wouldn't give anything. So it feels scary. I get it. Because in the world of possessions, we can see that if we give something away, then we have less of it, or it's gone completely. We have given it away, like books or money. If that's too scary for you, though, let's not start in the realm of possessions. Let's back up and just start in the emotional realm of hungry ghosts. Because A Course reminds us that whatever we feel is missing in any given situation that we are in is exactly the thing that we are not giving. So if you're feeling lonely, why not give some companionship to someone else? If you're feeling sad, go cheer somebody up. If you are feeling shame, phone up a friend and tell them how awesome and inspiring they are to you. If you are feeling lack or feeling deprived, go outside and count the blades of grass. Go out at night and count the stars, count the leaves, witness the ongoing abundance of nature that surrounds you, like that big-eyed fish. It's ignoring all of this water, believing that the air would be much, much better. If you're feeling angry with the world, try giving some love. Show some care, show some concern, even for a stranger. Don't ask about their politics or their religious belief or their worldview. Just love them. If you're feeling in despair, give hope to someone else. If you're feeling helpless, help somebody. If you're feeling fearful, give someone else some courage. If you're feeling worthless and unloved, tell somebody else how much you value them, how much you love them. Look, jubilants, at how much you can already give the world. And you're not depleted one bit. You are a veritable wealth of abundance. You're just waiting to be unleashed on the world. So the question is this: what is missing from your world right now, jubilants? Because whatever it is, that is what the Holy is asking you to become an open channel for. So the eternal source of whatever it is you're missing, love, encouragement, kindness, it's just asking you to be open for that to come through. You can't do it. Your ego will fight you every step of the way. But when you get the ego out of the way, when you go, look, I'm lonely, so I'm going to go be a companion for somebody else. And the ego goes, but no, we love being lonely. We get special treatment when we're lonely. Everybody feels sorry for us, and we like that. Be the open channel. Just move that out of the way. None of it comes from you. Instead, this is just an invitation to connect more deeply with the Holy within, that higher divine self that already swims all the time in a sea of abundance, just waiting for you to allow it to open the floodgates. Both the big-eyed fish and the man who refused to breathe, they failed to see the abundance they already had. They yearned to be something different, to be somewhere different, thinking that somewhere outside was going to satisfy their hungry ghosts. And it's true that we are called to become something different in this world, but not by getting, but by giving. And remember who we truly are, not trying to escape the truth about ourselves. We are the light of the world, jubilants, and we cannot shine if we seek to become anything other than that light. Remembering this, as the Course says, is a decision of the mind. You got a choice. Nothing outside of ourselves needs to change before we make that decision for love, for light. As that mystical Sufi poet Rumi tells us, all we really need is grace. The grace to just surrender that ego self and step into that holy love that brings about our awakening to the abundance that we're swimming in all the time. Rumi says, this is how a human being can change. Here's some instructions. There's a worm addicted to eating grape leaves, and suddenly he wakes up. Call it grace, whatever. Something wakes him, and he's no longer a worm. He is the entire vineyard, and the orchard too, the fruit, the trunks, a growing wisdom and joy that does not need to devour. Hear that good news this morning, jubilants. You are the vineyard. You're the whole orchard. You're not a worm addicted to grape leaves. You are the entire universe. There's no need to desire and devour just that one grape leaf when you own the whole place. As a bookworm, I value the wisdom in the tomes I own, but in reality, I am already an entire library of wisdom and abundance because I am intimately connected to the entirety of all wisdom, knowledge, love, and peace and light, and so are all of you. The most powerful thing any of us can give this world, jubilance, is that sense of connection, that feeling of unity to each other. That's something we all crave. It's something we all feel is lacking in our lives, and it's something we have in abundance and are already invited by the Holy to recognize and give it away wastefully every moment. Just be giving light. Just be giving love. Just give it away. It will never, ever be depleted within you. So instead of trying to satisfy your hungry ghosts by gorging yourselves on things of the world, why not just dive into the abundance of the universe that's inside you right now? If you begin to study and soak in that peace and love and joy and wisdom of that infinite world within, you will finally awaken to the abundance that you are swimming in right now. And oh my God, the only thing you're ever going to want to say when that happens is, oh yeah, 2, 3, 4. See the little sitting up in his monkey tree, one day decided to climb down and run off to the city. Look at him now, lost and tired, living in the street as good as dead, you see. Do what a monkey does, stay up your tree. But oh God, under the weight of life, we can see brighter on the other side. Oh God, under the weight of life, we can see so much better on the other side. Of course, when we talk about abundance, often we mean money. And we do mean the ability to support and be part of a community that you want to see grow and thrive and become all that it can become in the world. And we are grateful for everyone who has done that for us, especially in the past 2.5 years, as COVID has sent a lot of churches packing, a lot of businesses haven't survived, but we are still here, and that is because of you. It is because of the generosity of the folks in this room. It is because of the generosity of the folks watching out there, and we ask that you continue that generosity, that you be that abundance for us, so we can be the abundance for others out in the world. And so we can sponsor a lot of these programs that we have coming up, and other programs that we will do in the future as things get rolling again. And hopefully post-COVID is what we'll be talking about very, very shortly. So if you would like to give, you can go online to jubileecircle.com, and there is a link there that will take you to links to PayPal, or you can, we are at Jubilee Circle on Venmo, or you can mail us a good old-fashioned check to Post Office Box 4611, Columbia, South Carolina, 29240. And I have Cece here. And of course, you're always welcome to join us here in the building. Dogs and babies welcome. So. And we are going to say goodbye to those of you who are joining us via the YouTube. Same bat time, same bat channel next week. Please join us again. And thank you for being here for this morning. And remember, as Meister Eckhart says, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it will be enough. Because when we are in that state of gratitude, we are in our higher divine self. We are in that place of giving and receiving in generosity and abundance. And so may you go in abundance this week, and we will see you again next week. Oh, yeah.